The universe is magnificent and fascinating, and because of that, it's a place full of strange, mysterious, and unknown things. It certainly holds many secrets about our existence, our creation, our future, and whether we are alone or not in this vastness. And 700 light years away from us, there is a formation in the universe that catches the attention of many people. Could this perhaps be evidence that we are not alone in the universe? So get ready, because today I'm going to show you the Eye of God. What is it? What does it mean? Why does it have this name? But before that, go ahead and leave your like. Over the years, various space missions have acquired knowledge about the cosmos and everything that exists out there. Thousands of planets, galaxies, stars, and celestial formations have been discovered, all so different that we could never have imagined these things existed. Among the thousands of beauties that exist in the universe, nebulas are one of the most magnificent things that humans have ever found. Have you ever seen a nebula? Usually they are very colorful, with bright and luminous colors, and even peculiar and mysterious shapes. For example, have you ever seen the nebula that resembles a horse's head? There's one of a hand touching a cloud, and even a more mysterious nebula that would have the shape of an eye, where some believe that God would be watching over us. And now, let's get to know this nebula, the Eye of God Nebula. And before showing the Eye of God Nebula, know that a nebula is an interstellar cloud of dust, hydrogen, helium, and ionized gases, and are usually formed by remnants of stars. These materials that form the nebula may end up in the future forming a star, and that's why nebulas are called star nurseries. And now that you understand what a nebula is, let's go to August 25th, 2003, when NASA's Spitzer Space Telescope was launched into space for the first time. After a few years passed, and in 2019, 16 years after the telescope was sent into space, NASA posted on its website a gallery of incredible images taken by this telescope. And one of these photos shows the unbelievable formation, an impressive formation that was nicknamed an Eye of God. And because of this name, many people began to think that there might be some supernatural phenomenon in the universe, or that God really might be seeing us from here. Is that so? So was God really found in the universe? Does this nebula have something spiritual, or is it just a name that this nebula received? When it was reported that there was a thing called the Eye of God in the universe, many people began to be unsure of what it could mean exactly, if it was really God's eye watching over us, or something directly related to religion, or if it was just a formation in space. And well, folks, in fact, this formation called the Eye of God is nothing more than the Helix Nebula. This is its original name. This Helix Nebula is far from here, located about 700 light years away from here on Earth in the constellation of Aquarius. It is about 6 quadrillion kilometers away from here. That is very far. However, it is known that in space, what is far can be little. And even though this nebula is very far away, the Helix Nebula is actually one of the closest to Earth. That is, it is a privilege for us to be able to capture that beautiful image. Nebulas are located within galaxies and usually are always in intense activity, and therefore usually always create stars. And this nebula, folks, was nicknamed Eye of God because if you look quickly, it looks very much like the eye, but a magical eye, right? An eye that is there in the universe without also counting that it is close to Earth, and that makes some believe that it is God's eye truly watching over Earth. And according to some studies, what formed the Eye of God Nebula was the remnants of a star that was already at the end of its life, a star very similar to our sun. And I don't know if you know, but our sun may turn into a nebula. Our luck is that it will take a long time, but it can happen in about 5 million years. Then there may be a nebula here in our solar system, but unfortunately, we won't be here to see it. Well, in the universe, there are thousands of other nebulas, and of different shapes. And now let's see other incredible nebulas that have already been found. The Hand of God, another incredible nebula that exists in the universe, is the nebula called the Hand of God, which received this name because it looks like a hand trying to grab something in space. Do you agree with this name? The Hand of God is about 17,000 light years away from here on Earth, much farther than the Eye of God. It is located in the Circinus constellation, and according to a study, it arose from the death of a star, the PSR 1509. And have you ever stopped to think about the size of a nebula? If it's small or very large, this one, for example, is 150 light-years long. Do you realize what that means? And this nebula, folks, is surrounding a pulsar star. For those who don't know, this type of star is very fast, releasing energy and matter into space, causing formations like this hand. It rotates around its own axis 7 times per second. With this speed, it ends up releasing particles and all the remaining material from dead stars into space. So as all this is being thrown into the universe, particles interact with the magnetic fields around them, thus giving rise to this incredible image that we are seeing, which would be in this case a supposed hand from space, celestial hand, or we can even say the hand of God. But folks, as you've already learned, despite the supernatural appearance of God's hand, God's eye, you've understood that these nebulas are cosmic formations produced by natural astrophysical phenomena, and you've understood that the universe is full of them. So let's see another one, quite different now. The Horsehead Nebula. This is the Barnard 33 Nebula, better known as the Horsehead Nebula, because from a distance, you can perceive that there was a little horse there. It's a bit further away, at 1 in 1,500 light-years from here on Earth in the Orion Belt. And besides the horse shape, another thing that caught many people's attention is a dense mass of dust within it, forming a type of dark shadow, giving the image a darker appearance. As for the rest of the nebula, it has a red glow originating from hydrogen, the most prevalent gas within it. It's about 16 light-years in length, very large, and also has a total mass of 300 solar masses. The Butterfly Nebula, also known as NGC 6302. Let's now see a nebula that looks a lot like a butterfly, so much so that it's known as the Butterfly Nebula. It's 4,000 light-years away from Earth in the Scorpius constellation. And looking at it, it may seem like a simple nebula, but it's one of the most complex ones ever found in the universe, precisely because of its shape. It is believed that those central stars in the middle are some of the hottest things in that galaxy. And when we say hot, what temperature comes to mind? 200 degrees Celsius? 300? 1,000? The temperatures of the stars beyond the center can exceed 250,000 degrees Celsius. And according to some studies, the star that formed this nebula should have been very, very large indeed, which is why the central point is very dense, emitting 2 large beams of light on the sides, which makes it look like the wings of a butterfly. And like the eye of God, God's hand, the Horsehead Nebula, and even the Butterfly Nebula, all these nebulas are examples of pareidolia, because you've understood that the nebula is formed by many, many things like cosmic dust, gases, remnants of stars. So obviously, there won't be a horse there won't be a butterfly. But when we look at these nebulas, we end up seeing the shape of something, because our brain quickly wants to associate the image with something we already know. This phenomenon is called pareidolia. This happens when you look at a cloud and see a puppy, or when you see a sad or happy face when you look at a house, for example. So despite the universe being full of mysteries and things we don't know, what I've shown in today's video are nebulas. But they are still fascinating nebulas. And as we've talked about here, in the universe, there are thousands of other nebulas. If you like the video and give it a lot of likes, I can bring more videos like this in the future. And if you like to have information like this from space and discover a little more about our universe beyond, also, leave your like and comment below.